All right, so here's how you do question 4 from part B. So you're given this info, you're told to find lowercase g of I, p of I, uppercase p of I and g of I, and find the carry out for C4. You're given the 16-bit number. In the exam, it'll probably be an 8-bit number. So first thing you got to know, hopefully he lists this in the exam, but if not, just you got to remember that g of I is equal to a of I and b of I, and p of I is equal to a of I or b of I, and it's always equal to that. So we're going to make a table here. We're going to have, just call it b of I, just so you have the groups, okay? Because we're gonna list them all out. 14, 13, you're gonna need from 15 to 0. And then you're gonna have your A and B, and then G of I, P of I. So what was A? A was 0, 1, 1, and like this. I hope they have this set up for you on the exam, but if they don't, then yep, that's gonna be time consuming. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna compare these two, and you're gonna do an AND operation between them. And that answer is gonna give you your G of I. So for this one, it's a 0. You're gonna do the same thing, but for P of I. But you're gonna OR them together. And so this one's 0 from before, but this time it's a 1 because 0 or 1 is just 1. And then we're gonna do that all the way down. Just to do it faster, I'm gonna do all of G's and then I'm gonna do all of the P's. So 1, 1, that's 1, and it together. So this is 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and so on. And then for P, it's just ORing everything together. So 1, 1, and then 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. So then that's how you fill out that table. Then we're gonna split these into 4 groups. Okay? And these groups are going to be, we're going to call them our uppercase G's, right? So this is G3, this is G2, this is G1, and this is G0. And from this is where we're going to find our uppercase G's and uppercase P's, right? So first we're going to go to G3, right? We call this G3 and also P3, right? Because that's what we're looking for here. What are these equal to? So the way you find that is first you're going to find your P. So P of I is equal to all of your P's between 15 and 12. So P 15 through 12. And you're going to AND them all together. So here we have all these. So this is 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. And that's equal to 1. Therefore, P3 is equal to 1 in this case. And then to find our uppercase G3, we're going to go G3, which in this case is equal, this is this one right here, this line right here. That's going to be equal to 0, right? And we're going to OR it with, I actually miswrote this down. So G3 is going to be equal to this stuff. So this is going to be G15 or G14, and we're going to include all the P's that are higher than it. So we're going to include P15, we're going to OR it with G13, and we're going to include P15 and P14. Then we're going to OR it with G12 and P15, P14, and P13. And you know from this that G, let's see, here G15 was equal to 0, and here G14 is equal to 1, and G13 was equal to 1, and G12 was equal to 0. And you know all these P's are equal to 1. And so if you do the AND of these together, you get that 0 or 1 or 1 or 0, and that's equal to 1. Therefore, G3 here is equal to 1, and P3, as we found before, is equal to 1. And that's how you find these. And now you're going to go down the list, and we're going to do all of them. However, to just save time, because this would go on, like, takes quite a minute, I'm not going to, like, right here, we're going to see that the first G is a 1, and we know that's going to be ORed with other stuff, so we instantly know that, hey, G2 in this case is equal to 1. Doesn't always work out like that, but it actually works like that in the next one as well. So we know that G1 is also equal to 1. If it lines up like that, take the opportunity. If not, you just have to repeat these steps for these other ones. Now, so I guess we only have to compute the P's, but we know that, okay, these are all 1s, and these are all 1s. So if we do that same step that we did right here to compute those P's, we find out that, oh, P2 is equal to 1 as well, and P1 is equal to 1 as well, right? So now we're going to do the last one, right? We're doing this group right here. So this group is G0 is equal to G3 through 0, right? Because that's this group here. So we're going to go and we're going to look, first we're going to do P0, right? So we have 0 and 0 and 1 and 1, which is these here, and that's equal to 0. So we know that P0 is equal to 0. And now we're going to do the G's, right? So we got, so G0 is equal to G3 or G2 and P3 or G1 and P3 and P2 or G0, P3, P2, and P1. And what are the values of these? This is a 0 that we know from over there. This is a 0. This is also a 0. This is a 1, right? Yep, that's a 1. That's a 0, 0. And this is a 1. That's 0, 0, 1. So we know that all these equal 0, right? Because let's see, 0, and that's 1 and 0 and 0, and that's obviously 0. And then this same thing for this one. So we know that that's equal to 0. Therefore, G0 is equal to 0, right? So G0 is equal to 0. So now we can use this to make a table. Now we have our large G values, right? So we're going to list them right here. We're going to put our G's and our P's. And we know that we're going to call these, just call them group. We'll just name them group 3s, whatever. So group 1, group 0 right down here. And then we remember that G3 was a 1, and G2 was a 1, and G1 was a 1, and G0 was a 0, and P was 1, 1, 1, and 0 as well, right? So now we're going to compute C4. Now C4 is based off this information. So you're just going to repeat this step up here just on this info here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have G3 or G2 and P3 or G1 and P3 and P2 or G0 and P3, 2, and 1, right? And the values of these is a 1 and G2. It's a 1, that's a 1. It's a 1, 1, 1, and this is a 0, 1, 1, 1, right? So from this, we know instantly that, well, oops, we know that C4, so C4 is equal to 1 because of this step. And so our answer is C4 is equal to 1 for this problem.